Sometimes, like today, I feel like giving up. In fact, today is probably the first day that I can remember where I really am feeling like I kind of just want to retire. Um, you know, I've been reflecting back on my business life, whatever that means, and realizing that it's been a rough ride. But today, just to give you the background, today a new shipment of tea docked, which is very exciting. 1,000 cakes of tea is docked, and Port Health informed us that they changed the rules about a month ago. No one told us, and we need different kind of paperwork with our tea. Like we need to do pesticide testing at source in China, and we need to have a health certificate created at source. Normally that happens when it arrives. They do sample testing of pesticide testing, which is fine, and we're used to that. But now they changed the rules. They want it to be done in China, and they want the documentation. And since we don't have the documentation, even though we didn't know about it, they are saying that we can't have the tea. So we have the choice of either destroying it at our cost, or seeing how much it costs to send back to China, although I think that's near impossible, because China doesn't very much like receiving back tea, because it can be resold as non-Chinese tea. I think there's a sort of protectionism. It's like, don't send tea back to us because we don't know what you did with it. Anyway, so that means that we have about 1,000 cakes, average, let's say about £70, £80. They've got about £80,000 worth of tea, which is just going to have to be destroyed, or we're going to have to spend loads of money trying to work out what to do with it, but probably it's going to be destroyed. All because of a documentation requirement that, shouldn't there be some sort of announcement to stakeholders of some kind? Shouldn't the ports inform you a little bit? Shouldn't the shipping companies inform you? What are we supposed to be doing? Checking every week for new regulations? And it's just like a long line of things that have happened in my business life, of just always under the guise of protecting public health. It's always under that guise. So you can't argue with it, because it's about protecting public health, right? Wait, what? You don't argue? You don't want to protect public health? It's like always under the guise of protecting public health, there is this regulation, red tape, bureaucracy, and in the end, the corporates always somehow win. And that's the bit. It's like if we all suffered, then it probably wouldn't happen so much. But it's the fact that the corporates always win. And I was just sort of thinking back at other examples of this happening. So in this case, the argument is, got to protect public health, don't want people to drink crappy tea, pesticides, right? No, of course not. Fine, great. But then it's like, if I'm going to have to do testing on every single batch of tea that I buy, and I have to pay the bill, right? Because before it was like, we do sample testing. When they choose to sample it, we pay them, right? Still, okay, fine. But it's like, no, forget it. We don't want to do the work. We don't want to do the sample testing. No. Instead, every company needs to license basically every single batch, or certify every single batch at their own cost, because you need to protect public health, right? Because you want to, right? If you argue, then, no, you must be doing something dodgy, right? It's like, no. There are things called amazing teas, small batch amazing teas. I might find 5 kilos of it. But the cost of testing and certifying 5 kilos is exactly the same as me certifying 5 tons. So who wins in that battle? It's only the commodity tea people that will win in that battle, right? Because if I'm trying to find lots of different interesting teas, niche teas, pinnacle teas, to excite, to feed joy to myself and to people who love tea, who love quality products, who don't want to drink shit. They want to drink the best. It's like, no, you can't do that. Do that, then you're going to have to like go through, a big expense. And not just that, like, for example, in Yunnan, there are no testing procedures. There are very few testing places. So like, and again, the corporates win because then you get these big companies like SGS, TUV, these certifying companies that can just charge you. It's like, yes, can you imagine how happy they are? Yes, they've got to certify every single tea. That means every single tea needs to be tested by us. Cha-ching, let's put the prices up. It was just like when COVID happened, right? The shipping companies, cha-ching, let's just put the prices up of all the shipping lines so that we can just max this out. Corporate win, right? And then you've got the commodity tea companies that are purchasing up bulk quantities of tea. Yeah, you don't have to spray it with pesticides, fine, whatever. We're going to mulch it up into tea bags anyway. Nobody really cares about the quality that much, right? Or the taste. It's like, yeah, whatever, just leave it, let it grow. Okay, I'm being a bit blasé, but you know what I mean. There isn't anywhere near the love, the passion, the intention, the craft of farmers and families picking these wild trees, these trees that are like are hundreds of years old, and treating them with love and withering them while they're having their dinner. It's there on the patio withering, and then they're producing the most amazing tea filled with love and joy. No, like that stuff, it's like suddenly has become even more expensive, and it already was, right? And so what does that mean for me? It's like, yes, I'm going to have to spend more money and try to work it out, which means I'm going to have to reduce my product line. So I can't have the same sort of freedom of going, there's 3 kilos of an amazing tea. No, that's just going to cost too much, because you just add another 500, 600 pounds onto that batch. You've like doubled the price in some cases, right? So how am I supposed to like run a business? Like double my prices? It's just, there should at least be some level of sort of stakeholder consultation. There should be some level of let's talk to the people who are going to be affected. Instead, it's like, we've got to protect public health, just do this. It's like, think about the nuance. Think about the nuance. Don't just like think like in the most like banal, simplistic, ridiculously like shallow ways, like got to protect public health. It reminds me of like, I was looking up speed bumps, right? And statistically, if you put speed bumps on a road, then obviously you slow cars down, and if you slow cars down, then statistically, if somebody unfortunately gets hit, they're like the chances of them dying go down a huge amount. So from a simplistic point of view, you go, well, yeah, like put the speed bumps, but just put the speed bumps like A to B, slower, less deaths. Then you read the research on ambulances, and they estimate that because of the speed bumps, an extra 200 people are dying every year. It's like, have nuance, have a sense of like depth in your decision making. Have a sense of scope, have a holistic pattern-based view of how everything you do has a trickle-on effect and affects people. And how much of it is lobbying from the corporates, because they know they can get an advantage there. I've been involved in medicine like my whole life. Just to give you one example, right? Chinese medicine is largely unlicensed, right? Thousands of years of history, and let's say half a century of like being available to the West. In that time, there were no deaths attributed directly to herbal medicine, and all those people that want to write in the comments, believe me, I have looked at everything. I was on the Parliamentary Committee for Herbal Medicine. I've looked at all of the scare stories that you want to throw at me, right? All of those headlines you want to throw at me. The one time in the 90s, Aristolochia, this Chinese herb, ma huang, or I think it was ma huang, was vilified. Chinese herbs kills people in Belgium, right? Some Belgium, a lot of people had kidney failure, some people died. Nobody talks about this, that it was a practice by a GMC, well, equivalent, a licensed Western conventional medical doctor running a slimming clinic who was prescribing the wrong classification of herbs. So he was prescribing the wrong herb that is very well known to be toxic, and at the same time feeding them a whole load of drugs, including amphetamines and injections. But Chinese herb got the blame for that. And everyone had to kowtow to, oh yeah, we've got to protect public health. So what did they do? They created legislation. And what did that legislation do? It banned herbs. Banned a load of herbs. Just wipe out a whole chunk of medicine. No, you can't use that anymore. And all the other herbs, if you want to use them and you want to prescribe them, not prescribe them, you want them available over the counter, then you've got to go through another certification process run by another government agency sponsored corporate company that costs, each medicine, I think if you wanted to register, it was going to be about 100,000, 200,000 pounds to register one single formula, of which there are 200 formulas plus in Chinese medicine. Impossible, can't do it. Just no way. So you create a framework, corporate, you take the idea of a safety risk, public health risk, dramatize it, overinflate it because of the fact that, this wasn't done by Chinese medicine. It was done by some person just faffing around being an idiot, right? With loads of different medicines, including toxic ones. But it got blamed on us. I'm calling myself us because I feel a part of that fraternity or group. And then, it's suddenly you need to license it. But the framework for licensing it is so odorous, so impossible that you can't do it. So it's you see, you had something to hide. No. You've made a framework that's impossible for people to work with it. It's just not financially possible. It is financially possible for corporate pharmaceutical companies who want to create some crappy herbal formula that they could sell, because they can afford it, right? Some it helps you sleep. It's got some chamomile in it, right? And then people take it and they go, well, that didn't work. Herbal medicine's crap. Win-win. Make money, right? Make the money from doing it, licensing 200,000 pounds, whatever, means nothing to you. Make some money for it. And then prove that it doesn't really do much and you still need to, go and have your conventional medicine. It's understand the complexity. When people are lobbying you, say, you've got to protect public health, just understand the big picture. That's all I think anybody in small business asks of governments and of regulations. Just understand that there's hard work and you're on the edge of and I'm not trying to feel sorry for myself. I'm speaking out because it annoys me that these politicians and these lobbyists are just either not understanding or not caring or genuinely just want to screw over somebody, right? Screw over a competitor. None of those motives are honorable. And yet it's all put under the guise of got to protect public health, people, right? And I already know that I'll probably get comments, going, oh yeah, well, I don't want to drink a load of pesticides from China. Let me tell you something, people, right? You don't think that they spray pesticides in Japan and Taiwan? I will tell you right now, straight up, from visiting all countries, the country that I've seen the absolute least amount of pesticides in all of my travels is China. Yes, it's a big country. Yes, there's a load of shit that comes out of it. Do we need protection? Do you need to be nannied? Can you have some discernment about looking at like companies and intention and probing them and asking the questions and building up your own sense of trust for somebody? Or are you going to leave that to the state and allow it to be essentially be governed by bloated corporates who basically kill off your ability to enjoy and experience the truly best stuff without having to pay the earth? That's all I got to say about it. Peace.